Welcome back to another video from the Debate Room podcast. This is our reaction to the De'Aaron Fox, Zach Lavine, Bulls three-team trade that just happened a few hours ago. I mean, the NBA trade deadline is heating up. Obviously, we got the Lakers trading for Luka Doncic yesterday. Go watch that video if you haven't already. It's on our channel. Q couldn't make it to that. So before we get into it, what's your quick thoughts on the Lakers trading for Luka Doncic?
For the Lakers, it's obviously a good move. It doesn't really matter about today, tomorrow, and like the immediate future, but you get a top three player in his prime on one of the biggest franchises in basketball or in sports in general for like the next, I guess, 10 years. Like that's a win for the NBA. That's a win for the Lakers. For the Mavs, whatever Nico's talking about, it's not a good move. AD literally is about to start. He's already declined. He's still a top 10 player, but it's not going to get any better than that. Kyrie got to opt out. So, like, this is objectively a stupid move. But, hey, it's anything for Bron to win another chip. I don't really care.
I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't really think it did.
Chill. I don't want to hear
that. But, Katie, what's your thoughts on it? Because we didn't get your thoughts on our pod yet.
Yeah. I mean, like, the deal makes sense for the Lakers. Like, I'm a LeBron fan, so it's whatever. I think as they are right now, they're definitely worth – like, the team right now is not competing for a championship. Like, unless they just are on some 2021 Brooklyn Nets stuff where they're offensively – they don't care about defense, but offensively they just destroy everybody, which, I mean, it could be LeBron, AR, and Luka. You know, that's a crazy offensive big three, but – you don't win chips without defense. So if they're actually competing, they got to go make trades. And if they don't, I mean, they'll easily make the playoffs, but they're not going to do anything. Like, they're not winning a championship or anything unless they make trades. So for the Mavs side, it's easily one of the worst trades, probably the worst trade of all time. And like in that, actually, I won't say that. I think the SGA Clippers Paul George trade is the worst of all time. But this,
nah, yeah. It's a Brooklyn and Celtics trade. That's the worst trade of all time.
Nah, I still believe it's the Clippers. Like, they gave up like 4 or 5 firsts or something like that, plus SGA. Like that just too much.
I mean, it aged poorly, but I don't think the process was bad. SGA had outlier development, and they were trading for 2 superstars, basically. So,
yeah. But the result, you can say the same for the Nets Celtics trade. Like, it ended up being bad because of where
the process ass too. The process ass, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the process. So it was, but like, you gotta just look at the result. Like, the result is SGA now is better than Paul George ever was in his career, and they got like 4 or 5 firsts out of it. So it's like that. And this trade, I understand like where Nico is coming from. It's flawed. It's completely flawed, and it's wrong because like it's Luka Doncic. Like, it's just so ridiculous to trade him, period. But I understand like where he's coming from with he wants like defense. He thinks they can compete in the next few years. The line he said about in 10 years, like, we're not even going to be here, that's facts. Like, he's right about that one. He's not going to be there in 10 years. So, like, what Luka's doing in 10 years don't really matter to him. But he's wrong if he actually thinks they can compete for a chip more so now than they could with Luka.
But yeah, let's talk about the trade that is at hand. Obviously, we're going to start off with the Spurs part of it. The Kings traded De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs. I'm going to just read the whole trade out. It was a 3-team trade, so a lot of moving parts. The Spurs got De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin. The Kings got Zach Lavine, City Kosciuszko, 3 first-round picks, and 3 second-round picks. The Bulls got Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, and their own 2025 pick they got from San Antonio. So let's talk about the Spurs. How do you like this pairing between Victor and Fox? What does their season look like going forward? Do you guys think they can make the playoffs? Just your general thoughts on the Spurs part of this deal. Do you like the value that they gave up? Did they give up too much for Fox, or any thoughts that you have on the trade? I'm gonna start with Katie.
Yeah, as a resident Spurs guy, they got my guys, Stephon Castle and Jeremy Sohan. So, I'm always rooting for him. But yeah, they made out. I was trying to tell Latif, we not giving up Steph Castle for De'Aaron Fox. We can get the trade done without doing it. I don't know why.
I just don't think he was untouchable. But hey,
I don't know why people thought that we needed to give him up. It just wasn't a thing. All the picks, there's just no need. So they're easily playoff locks. I'll say it right. Barring a major injury to Fox or Wemby, they're playoff locks. They're all the teams in the play-in. Wolves smoking them, Suns smoking them. All the teams, I'm not moved by them.
Wow,
I'm not moved by them. You got the defensive trio already of Castle, Sohan, and Wemby is elite straight up. And then you adding in offensively, you're adding in De'Aaron Fox. It's the ceiling for this team. I don't think it's conference finals. I think they're probably a year or two out from that in terms of player development and experience. But second round, their floor is close to their ceiling with the second round. It's going to depend on matchups, but I'm anticipating second round for this team.
Oh, I didn't think you were going to say that. But Q, what's your thoughts? Wow.
Let us see OKC first round.
Okay, stop.
We're going to have money on that. I promise you.
Listen, it's cool. I don't think it means anything this year, contrary to you talking about some playoff lock. I'm not saying all of that.
That's crazy.
They could make a push. If they fall just short, it's okay. I really think this is next.
But look at the play. You telling me that the teams in the play right now are better than
them. They're 2 games back. They're 2 games back of the play.
Yeah, they'll easily cover that.
Right there. Let me see who right there before I say anything too crazy.
The Mavericks are in the play-in. I'm not gonna lie. They're not playoff locks. I just can't say that.
Yeah, I'm not going because they gotta make the play in. Then they gotta.
They're gonna make making the play in is a guarantee.
No.
That's crazy. That's crazy. They're 21 and 24 without being.
I can tell you after Thursday. I can let you know for sure after Thursday. As of today, I'm not gonna say they locked. Next year, this is a next year trade. I don't know about this year.
They're 21 and 25 without De'Aaron Fox. What are we doing here?
Is De'Aaron Fox a 15-game swing?
What do you mean?
Not that they're gonna win 15, but in the next 15 games, can they go
I'd have to look
at 5 and push themselves in there? Do you think
I'd have to look at their schedule, but I am anticipating that they're gonna finish this season probably closer to a 58 to 60% win pace, and that will rise them up to the play-in. I don't think they're gonna make it out the play-in because that they have too much of a gap to close. But they're gonna get up into the play-in, and then they're going to win the play-in game, or one of the play-in games to get in. They're not.
They next couple is not they got Memphis, but y'all not playing. But after that, they got Atlanta, Charlotte, Orlando, Washington, Boston, Phoenix, Detroit, and then the Pelicans.
I'm counting 8 wins there, easy.
That's 8 games.
Yeah. Oh, it's 8, maybe 6 wins. Yeah.
I think the 7th hardest remaining schedule of the year. I think I'm reading this right.
Let me check.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Of the next 9 games, I can see you're right, 6 wins. I think they Washington, Charlotte, Atlanta, lock that up. They probably beat Memphis, probably beat Orlando, Boston, Phoenix. That's the iffy games. And you got Detroit. I ain't gonna pick against Detroit.
You're crazy, but they got the 15th. I'm looking at. They got the 15th ranked as remaining strength of schedule.
Okay, so unless this team unless this team makes it to the 7th seed, which I don't know if that's possible, then
Possible is crazy.
Bro, the Timberwolves are the 7th seed right now.
Yeah, but you're saying you don't know if it's possible. Like that.
Okay, all right, cool. Which I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, that's fair. I don't know if 7's can happen. It's possible, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
Let me say this, KD. They will be if they make the playoffs. If they make the playoffs, they will be first round exits unless they're the 7th seed. They can beat the Rockets potentially. Like they can beat the Rockets. I'll probably pick them against the Rockets.
It could be Rockets or Memphis, either or.
If they see the Memphis, I'm picking the Grizzlies. I fight the only team that's in the playoff picture right now that I would have them beating is the Rockets. I'm not gonna lie. Outside of that, everybody I would probably had them losing to. We got to see what happened with the Lakers, but outside of that, they're gonna lose. Like I don't think their ceiling is a second round unless they get one specific matchup.
I mean, yeah, that would mean their ceiling is a second round.
I mean, that's fair, but also this team is still a work in progress. I mean, De'Aaron Fox is a great player. He's a top player.
That's just not the wording I would use. Work in progress. Like they have all the pieces are right there. Like their starting five is like perfectly.
I think their offense is still gonna have issues for sure. Their offense is still gonna have issues. Like
I don't know if I can get on board with that. Like you got Fox and Wemby. Like they're gonna figure it out. Vassell
Fox isn't the best.
Vassell is inconsistent, but he's still a good shooter. Like
Fox is a inconsistent shooter. He is not a good passer. Like I think he's one of the best pick and roll scorers.
Okay, not a good passer. Like
I want to let him.
He's an average passer. He's an average playmaker.
I wouldn't say that. That's
he's an average playmaker. What are we doing? De'Aaron Fox is an average playmaker.
That's going too far.
That's a little disrespectful.
No. De'Aaron Fox is an average playmaker, in my opinion.
No, that's disrespectful.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Bro, like
that's crazy.
Why are we acting like he's some fucking maestro? What is going on?
Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying
yeah.
De'Aaron Fox
is not average. Like that's crazy.
Why isn't he average playmaker? Why is
he's a great scorer for one, and so that factors into playmaking, and he's a good passer.
I wouldn't say, especially as far as interior reads. I wouldn't say that.
Okay, but you have to realize his role man is Sabonis. Like that, it's not like he has some elite like vertical.
I don't want to get harped on that because that's not really my point. I think De'Aaron Fox is one of the best pick and roll scorers in the entire NBA. He's one of the best pick and roll players in the entire NBA. That's obviously going to pair nicely with Wemby. Outside of those two, though, I have questions about everybody offensively outside of maybe Vassell, and Vassell has been up and down this year. I don't think their spacing is the best at all, to be honest.
It's not, but you have Wemby makes up for like a lot of spacing because he can shoot.
I don't like the fit between Fox and Castle. I really don't. Like really at all. I really don't like the fit.
Yo, you hilarious. Yo, you are hilarious.
Castle is shooting 30% outside of the thing.
Castle is gonna play the same role he played at UConn. Like, what are we doing here?
Bro, this is the NBA.
Multiple different ball handlers. Like
this is NBA, bro.
That's crazy.
This isn't UConn, bro. This isn't UConn. This is the NBA. I'm sorry. Like teams sack off in college, they're gonna continue to do that. In the playoffs, he might be one of those players that take a big hit because he cannot shoot. He cannot score outside of the paint, bro. I'm literally telling you, he cannot score.
He can get to the line. He can get to the line. That alone is a valuable skill in the playoffs. Immensely valuable in the playoffs.
Brother, he's not going to be a good playoff player. I'm telling you.
On top of that, and so I'm not worried really about Sohan because Sohan has been an elite finisher this season, and Wemby doesn't play in the paint, so like that doesn't really.
Also have questions about Sohan in the playoffs too. Also, those are two like having Sohan and Castle on the court in a playoff series. I'm concerned about that.
That's what I'm saying. Like that doesn't make sense because that would make sense if Wemby was an interior big because then it's like, oh, you just pack the paint. But that's not how Wemby plays. That's not even how Fox plays. Like Fox loves the mid range. So somebody helping off Sohan isn't gonna like make much of a difference, especially when. It's not like he's Gobert, where it's like you can't trust Gobert to finish. Sohan has been one of the best finishers in the league this season, like statistically. he's great finishing around the rim. So he just sits in that dunker's position, and he's going to get value because he's one of the best defenders in basketball, and he's a good passer for his position.
So let me look at where the Spurs offense ranks this season. I'm pretty sure it's bad. But let's see. They are okay. They're 15th. They're 15th. I'm mistaken.
With no De'Aaron Fox, by the way.
Okay,
with no De'Aaron Fox, by the way.
Their offense. How much better do you think their offense is going to get?
They're easily jumping from. Well, I don't know if they'll finish top 10 because like it's already been so long in the season, but from this point on in the season, they will be from this date, whenever it is, February 2nd, they'll be a top 10 offense for the rest of the season, I believe.
And their defense will probably stay around average.
Yeah, I don't think their defense changed. Well, because their defense, it's been up and down because Sohan's been injured, but assuming Sohan stays healthy, their defense is obviously much better. And just Chris Paul playing less will make the defense better because obviously Chris Paul's still a cone. He's just too old. He's not giving you anything on defense. So the less he plays, the better your defense is going to be. But their defense isn't going to get any crazy better or anything like that.
So yeah, I just disagree as far as them being playoff locks, and I also think that their ceiling isn't the second round because I find it highly unlikely that they end up facing.
Well, you said they could if they face the Rockets, you pick them over the Rockets.
Yeah, because the Rockets' offense is
yeah. So then that means their ceiling is the second round. That literally is what that means. They could make the second round, and that's what I said. It would depend on matchups, and that really is I think I personally would take them over Memphis because unless Memphis makes a trade, I'm a little sussed out on Memphis overall come playoff time, how good their offense is going to be. I don't know, especially against a Spurs matchup. I don't think that's a great matchup for them. But
yeah, as far as the actual move though, they didn't have to give up much at all. They retained most of their premium assets. They retained Stephon Castle. They retained Vassell. They retained, I think, both Atlanta picks.
They kept Keldon Johnson. I know people are mixed about Keldon Johnson, but he's actually had a pretty solid season. I thought at bare minimum he would be gone, and he wasn't even gone. So
I think that's a plus. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, this is a great move for the Spurs because they kept their premium assets. They didn't have to get up many significant draft picks outside of that 2031 first round pick to Minnesota because I think that's going to be a very good pick. But you add a top 30 player in an NBA who right now is a 90 percentile pick and roll ball handler, giving you 1.07 points per possession on 28.3% frequency. So he's been elite, and that's going to pair well with Wemby, especially since he's a real threat to pick and pop, which he didn't have that with Sabonis. So that's going to be really good. I wanted this to happen. I like the Spurs' future. They just got to draft well, and they got to build a team around this infrastructure better. So we'll see what they do.
They got plenty of assets left. It's the Spurs' future is bright.
That's why I don't really care about this year. I don't really care what happens this year. Next year,
this year is just about getting Wemby, getting Castle, getting all those guys playoff experience. That's really all this year is about because you got to get those guys games in the playoff setting.
So, their GM Brian Wright, I believe he's done an amazing job as far as trades and getting assets. Got to do better in the draft, but we'll see. But the
we traded that 2031 first, so traded Dillingham for Fox. Hey, that's a W in my book, easy.
It is. So next topic is the Bulls. Obviously traded Zach Lavine to the Kings. We're gonna talk about the Kings side of this first, and then we're gonna talk about the Bulls because there's a lot to talk about.
We should probably say specifically what those firsts are gonna turn into, how good they're actually gonna be. Because
so I think this because people just say the Kings got 3 firsts, and it's kind of a little bit misleading, especially with the strength of these first round picks. The 2025 Charlotte pick will not be a first. That will be 2 seconds next year because the Hornets are getting that. And the 2027 pick, I think, is going to be a late first round.
It'll be 20 something for sure.
The Spurs are going to be probably great by that time, by 2027. And then in 2031, I think there's a real chance at the top pick.
That could be a good pick.
With the way the Timberwolves are going right now, I don't even know how much longer Anthony Edwards is going to be on the team. I don't know. I don't know.
That could be a great pick. Like, not even good. That could be like a top 5 pick potentially.
No, it can. And so they also got 3 second-round picks. So essentially, like, 5 second-round picks and then 2 first-round picks.
5 seconds, a late first, and a potentially good first.
Yeah, not a bad haul for De'Aaron Fox at all, considering they probably didn't have a lot of leverage in the situation. And they also got Zach Lavine, who is having an amazing season this year. I think he's giving you like 64. I think he's giving you 24 points per game on like 62 true shooting or something like that. He's having a really efficient year this year. For me, I still don't agree with the direction the Kings are going, though, because if you're trying to compete, you want to actually give yourself a chance to compete. At this very moment, they are going to be a play-in team. Like, they're probably going to be a 10th or 11th seed in the West with this current roster. They really just rebuilt the Bulls and put it in the West, and then added Malik Monk.
Yo, bro, I'm about to.
You didn't come with that, bro. You didn't come with that.
Rebuilt the Bulls. Crazy, bro.
I really don't like the core of Zach Lavine, DeMar DeRozan, and Sabonis. That sounds atrocious defensively. Malik Monk.
No worse really than Fox, Lavine, or Fox, Sabonis, and DeRozan. So
it's a lateral move to me. It's a lateral move as far as like how much the team's going to get. And I understand.
Well, no, they got worse because Fox is better than Lavine. So
yeah, for sure. But I think Malik Monk's gonna be able to scale up a little bit. So I don't.
Yeah, he'll be on a more on-ball role. But I also don't think the Kings are done. Like, I think they got another move brewing. So
yeah, as far as what we can judge right now with what's happening right now, I don't hate the trade for them, but I'm not really a big fan of the direction. I think they need to actually rebuild this thing. And I know it's hard to hear because they were trash for so long. So that the owners want to stay competent, but they're going to find themselves in the middle potentially, similar to the Bulls and Hawks. The only thing but they do also have those additional first-round picks. So that makes it a little bit better. That's my thoughts on their side of the trade. What you think, Q?
I feel the same way. Chicago West, it's not like they found themselves in the same situation the Bulls found themselves in now. They just 2 years early on it. They're gonna have to. I mean, they got the assets. They can trade, like, do something else and try to get better. How much better is pretty marginal. It's not really that significant. When you get a taste of being, competent and being, getting some type of recognition, whatever, you kind of want to keep that thing going. And I don't understand why they would want to do that. Relevance is key. But I think like you owe your franchise a chance to like actually compete if you're gonna like pay that kind of money. You owe your fans something, like, and the players themselves, like, a real direction of like, are we gonna really try to win? And if you're really gonna try to win, you got to make some tough decisions, and it's gonna be hard, based on those type of players, because nobody really wanted Zach Lavine. Maybe you wanted Zach Lavine, but y'all just wanted win now players back for a deteriorated asset, because Fox basically pretty much probably ain't want to be there nowhere. So like, you had to take on something. Zach Lavine is one of the best like consolation prizes you could get as of right now for Fox. It was like, you kind of see that as like not a loss, but not a win either. You just, all right, we still here. That's 25 points per game right there. Whatever you think about that. Well, defense is going to be horrible. You're 10th now. You're probably not going to get no higher than 8th. So you're still in the same position. But at least you got the picks.
Yeah. Sacramento is a unique situation because they're a team where it's like, I agree. I don't think that teams should be like in limbo, like the Bulls and whatnot, and just like floating between competing and rebuilding and stuff. But Sacramento is unique from like a financial perspective for like ownership and the organization, simply because their fans show out for their games. Like, every single game, that arena is packed. It's one of the loudest arenas in the NBA. And so if you're just like rebuilding and tanking, you're not getting you're not filling seats. You're not making money off that. You're not taking advantage of that. So it's almost to the point where you just want to at least field a team that's like half competitive. That way you can take advantage of that stuff because it's not like the Kings are a good rebuilding team. I mean, they were rebuilding for like 16 years, and like what came out of it was a single playoff series where they lost. So, do I think that they should be just going full rebuild? Given everything I just said, I don't. I think they're just unique. Like, I don't think this is like the Pacers before Hallie, like before they traded Sabonis. I don't think this is like the Bulls. I think they're unique with their fan base and just like how much people show out to their arena, that they should try to be some baseline level of competitive, even if it doesn't mean like we're a championship contender.
The Bulls had you had to if you say that for the Bulls, why won't you say that for the Kings though? The Bulls have the strong one of the arguably the strongest fan base in the entire league as far as like attendance wise.
I just don't buy. Oh, I mean, and part of that is why the Bulls have continued to like try to be competitive. But the thing for the Bulls is like they're trying to be competitive doesn't work. Like they're in the East and they still suck. So it's like, what are you really doing? Like at least, and when they did it, when they got Lonzo that first year, like it was fun and whatnot until he got hurt. But after that, it's just like you just kind of you still suck. So at least the Kings, like with this core, like they're not gonna given it's the West, so like it's gonna be tough to really do something. But like they're still gonna compete. They're gonna win games. They're gonna beat teams. Like so that I think that's good enough for them personally.
All right, and let's talk about the last part of this trade before we grade it. The Bulls got a first round pick that they already own back, and a bunch of players. So basically, I want to start this off with saying, the Chicago Bulls are just well, let me say it like this. If you look up in the dictionary, organizational malpractice, which is not a word, like not a word you'll find in the dictionary. If you look it up in the dictionary, the Bulls will pop up. Like the way they have been mid for so many years and then let their assets depreciate over years is ridiculous. Let me read this. The Bulls have traded DeMar DeRozan, Zach Lavine, and Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey, Kevin Huerter, Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Chris Duarte, 2 second-round picks, and getting their own pick back. That is a insane fumbling for assets that used to be valued at a high level. They haven't got any additional assets from their trade. They haven't got any additional assets from like selling their assets yet. We got to see what they get back from Vooch, but it's probably going to be like 2 or 3 seconds, maybe a protected first because he's been playing really, really well. But they've had a lot of talent on this roster and have nothing to show for it at all. They've done a great disservice to the city and to their fans. It's really hard to be a Chicago Bulls fan, that's why I'm not one.
Yeah, the famous Chicago native, swear.
Not one.
They are a terribly ran organization, and I don't have much hope for them until they get a superstar talent in the draft. So that's really my thoughts on it. When we get to that grade, you're gonna hear more about that. What we think about Q?
Same sentiment. Literally not doing anything, like sitting on their hands and feet and whatever they supposed to access for too long, then got them worse and worse packages. The writing was on the wall over the summer once they let go Caruso for Josh Giddey. Like once that happened, it was just like, okay, well, that just was like sign to come. And then you seen right after that, you see the DeMar DeRozan package, just like, oh, okay, now you see this, you like, yeah, they're just not gonna get nothing. They get pennies on the dollar. They didn't even really get their pick back because they had the pick, like they had their pick. Like
they were gonna get it. It was good. They were going to get their pick no matter what.
Yeah, the Spurs game, like, yo, here, we're just gonna allow you to really have it so you don't have to try too hard about it. Like that's really what it was. I don't respect what they're doing. It's pretty stupid. Unless they get back 5 first for Vooch, that's the only way it could kind of sway, change the scales and make the whole a lot better. But you're not going to get that. You at most you'll get maybe 2, but it's probably going to be a couple of seconds, maybe a first for the right bidder. But even then, it's just weird. The last 5 years is pretty much up in smoke. Still got to move off Lonzo. You're not going to get a bunch of first for him either. So it's like you're just taking pennies on the dollar on everything, and that's just horrible.
Yeah, part of it is, don't get me wrong, a good part of it is ownership. Like last deadline, they weren't allowed to try to sell anybody. Like they could have traded Andre Drummond for like 2 seconds, but the ownership said, no, you have to try to improve the team. So like if your owner's selling you that, it's nothing you can do as a GM, nothing you can do as a front office. Like you got to follow what the owner says. So a lot of it is on ownership, just like not even allowing them to trade these assets. That being said, I would have kept Lavine on the roster. I'd have kept him for another season before accepting this trade for him. Like they not only like did they get their own first that they already would have gotten. This pick was good. They was going to be top 10. Like they've been losing a ton of games. You can easily just like sit Lavine out, and then you're guaranteed to be top 10. And you're going to trade out. You're probably going to trade Vooch. Like the team would have been dressed. This pick was going to convey. Next year, it's like top 8 protected. They easily could have been top 8 and still gotten it again. Like them getting that first from San Antonio is essentially nothing. Like it's San Antonio. Like they're saying, yeah, here's a first, and then they're turning around and they laughing. Like straight up, San Antonio GM is laughing. Like, yo, these suckers really like bought this, but. I would have legit brought Lavine back, kept him before accepting this. You could have done better. You 100% could have done better. Like, even if you brought Lavine back next season or even this summer, like for a team like trying to make a move for him in the summer, you could have done better than this. You could have done way better than this. This is just – it's bad. It's bad. But I'll say more for when we, like, grade it.
All right, let's give every team a grade. So let's grade the De'Aaron Fox and Zach Lavine trade. Let's start off with the Spurs. Q?
I'd give them an A. A+, really.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. A+. They barely gave up anything. Like, I won't say barely. They gave up, some draft capital, but you got all-star talents to pair with Wemby, like, for basically nothing. So
I'm gonna agree. I think it's an A+ as well. They still have a lot of assets that are premium, especially the picks in Atlanta. And you got De'Aaron Fox who should pair nice with Wemby. Next team is obviously the Sacramento Kings.
I give it a B+.
Yeah, like I'll give a caveat. It's a B+ as is, but if they make another trade before a trade deadline, that's like a good trade, improves the roster. I'll bump them up to an A-.
Yeah, that's how I felt because of the picks. Like you get Zach Lavine cool, but you also got some picks. So like that could change the whole trajectory as long as they do something right with it.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit lower on the trade than you guys. I'm gonna give it a C+ because I just don't like the direction that they're going in with as far as like they're just being mid and they're fine with that. I can't agree with it.
Okay, but what in terms of just pure value they got back from this trade?
Oh, in terms of pure value, I think that value is pretty overrated. To be honest, it's fine. It's a fine return. Again, that Charlotte pick is going to be 2 second rounders, and then that pick in 2027 is not going to be great at all.
Late first.
The 2031 pick could be really special.
Could be a great first.
That one could be really special. And then obviously, then they will receive 5 second round picks. It's a good deal. Kind of a little bit similar to what Pascal Siakam, but obviously that 2031 pick was higher than I think anything the Raptors got back.
I think it's much better.
Yeah, so I think it's appropriate value. I don't think it's like a steal or anything like that. Combined with appropriate value, and I don't like that direction. That's what makes it like a little bit above average for me. So I don't know. I understand why you guys disagree, but I feel like my logic is pretty sound. And then the last team is the Wolves.
F. It's just gotta be an F. You got your own pick that you was already gonna get. Like that is just the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like And it's gonna go over people's heads because a lot of people don't even understand like pick protections, but like they literally got a pick that they were already gonna get. It's essentially nothing. That's crazy.
Q?
That's an F. I almost got sent out again. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I just forced Kyrie Irving requested trade for the Mavericks. I'm about to say, hey, yo. I'd be livid.
Crazy.
Dallas at 6.
Oh, Memphis ain't put up 130 on Milwaukee. Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's a D minus just because they got off Lavine's contract, which I think is a positive, and they're also like going towards a rebuild. The return was asked for all the reasons you guys said, but just from the standpoint of they have a direction and they got off of Lavine's contract, I'm gonna give them a D minus. I'll give them a little bit of a pass for that. That's gonna do it for our reaction to the De'Aaron Fox, Zach Lavine, and Bulls 3-team trade. Keep tuning in and follow us on our social media platforms for updates on when we're going to drop episodes because the trade deadline is heating up. If something else crazy happens, we're going to be back with another video on it. But we'll recap the trade deadline when the trade deadline is over, and we'll like rank teams and stuff like that after the trade deadline as well too. Hopefully, we can have Katie on for that as well. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we are out.